Hello and welcome to the Rust Room. We are in Hoboken, New Jersey. As you can see from the preliminary shot, we got a little B-roll where we, right outside my door over here, I have a little balcony at the W Hotel, and we pan just exactly what we see off that balcony, right up the Hudson River, the whole skyline of Manhattan, it's sunrise. It's a really inspiring sight, so we thought we'd share that with you before we started this interview. But I'm here with somebody. We've been trying to get this interview organized for a while. I was going to go to New Hampshire, go visit. That didn't work out for some reasons, but here we are.
Snow.
Yeah, snow. Snow has an impact in the winter in those parts of the world. And right now, the people from San Diego watching this are laughing at us, but we'll give them the chiropractic index finger.
I hate my friends.
I wonder if they teach that anymore. Which finger is the chiropractic index finger? But if they don't teach that in school anymore, use your imagination. So truly, it's known as the chiropractic index finger. So anyway, I've been wanting to get this gentleman onto Rust Room for a while because he has completely impressed me with his understanding of chiropractic practice, his ability to analyze chiropractic practice. As a matter of fact, when he's coaching chiropractors, he has this thing called a clinicoscopy. Is that what you call it? Yeah. So he's got interesting characterizations on how he goes and approaches
with the rubber glove.
Yeah. What did we learn yesterday? We're here at our Ultimate Achievers Club meeting, and one of my guest presenters that came in talked about how every word takes you on a mental journey. Is that what he said, or something like that? So clinicoscopy took me on this kind of like a hike through the Lincoln Tunnel.
I was rethinking that.
But I like it. No, I don't change it. I like it. Anyway, this is Dr. Stephen Franson. So, Steve, let's just get started at the beginning as far as your background. What got you into chiropractic?
I've got a great chiropractic story. Really, sort of a sad story that ends well. And I grew up in a little town called Woburn, Massachusetts. If anybody has seen the movie A Civil Action, Robert Duvall and John Travolta.
Saw that movie.
Yeah, it tells the story of this cancer epidemic that happened in the late 60s and early 70s and featured this town just north of Boston. That specifically there's one neighborhood where they considered a ground zero for cancer. There was about 28 or so cases in this one little neighborhood. And the movie, tells the story of the discovery of the cancer with all these people and the diagnosis and the treatment and of course all the implications to the families and the suffering that they went through. Not as much from the disease as from the treatment. Mm-hmm. And I just grew up in the center of that. That was my neighborhood. Those were my friends. That was my family. But most notably, one of them was my best friend, Patrick. And so when you're 10 years old, your best friend's not supposed to die of cancer. Mm-hmm. But I look back at that experience, and I can remember going with him to Mass General, which was, that was the place to be. Yeah. If you wanted the medical world's best of the best. And through a 15-month process or so, I got to hold his hand through that whole ordeal where, you had the smartest people in the world that were just trying to kill a disease and not kill a little boy. But through that process, I can remember when, through the chemo and the radiation and I always get choked up when I tell the story. Yeah. So I can just remember, he went through the whole hair falling out and teeth falling out and the gums bleeding and the skin lesions and all that. So that was really confusing to a couple of kids that you were playing baseball with just weeks and months prior. And I can remember just getting so frustrated at one point that I was like, we do all these things we're doing to him. Everything you guys do, he's getting worse. It was like the big announcement always came, we're going to do this, and then we're going to try this. And so everybody got their hopes up. Right. And he would just get worse and worse and worse and weaker and sicker and weaker and sicker. And finally I was like, are you doing all these things to him? Is there anything that can be done for him? Right. And of course, 10, 11 years old, they're pushing you aside, and I can remember them saying to me, there's nothing more that can be done. Mm. There's nothing more that can be done. And that just struck me. And I just remember when Patrick died, sitting with my dad, and him checking on me is, how you doing? Are you okay? Because I wasn't saying anything. Mm-hmm. And I said, yeah, Dad, I've decided what I want to be when I grow up. And he said, all right, son, what do you want to be? And I said, I'm going to be a doctor. And he said, that's great. What kind of doctor do you want to be? I said, I don't know, but I'm going to be the doctor that makes people stronger. And it was at that point, I knew nothing about chiropractic, of course. I knew nothing about the wellness lifestyle. But that was the exact moment I discovered my purpose. And, I've never looked back since.
So how did you discover chiropractic after that?
Well, credit to my dad again. I was in college, hurt my shoulder, couldn't play my sport anymore.
What sport?
I was a rugby player.
Oh.
But I was a surfer, and I was, working out, and, so I couldn't do anything. I blew my shoulder out, lost about 35 pounds of muscle in about a year. And so you lose your identity, and I was studying. I wanted to go into orthopedics. Like everybody says, I want to be an orthopedic surgeon. But I literally had the plan. I wanted to go to Colorado Springs and be the guy at the Olympic Training Center.
Right.
I mean, I had that plan.
Right.
And so he made me go see his chiropractor. Because these guys told me, they took me through all the therapy. They took me through, the best of the best. So I had the best of the best available to me, and nobody could help me. And eventually they said, you need surgery. You're all done. And I'm 19 years old. I'm bulletproof.
Wow.
I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean I'm all done? So my dad said, during a Christmas break said, okay, so I'm going to take you to go see my chiropractor. And of course, this poor guy had to deal with me. I'm the educated skeptic sitting there going like, yeah, right. And then he started talking about my neck and my nerve supply and my shoulders. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I've already been taught that you guys can't help me.
Right.
It's like literally I was indoctrinated with that. So this guy put up with me long enough to get results.
Wow.
And he was an amazing man, and I just really appreciate him so much. This guy, Tom Michaud, in Boston. And anyway, so he won my trust. And so now I was open up and I was available to him. But it was totally just because of results,
Right.
But then I started to notice that this guy was passionate about what he did. He loved what he did. And that was unique to me, to see a grown man who loved his work,
Right.
loved his life,
Yeah.
loved his job. And I found that intriguing. And then he started to really share with me the truth, about how the body really works and how the body really heals. And man, it was an epiphany. It just clicked for me. I said, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And that was that.
And you went down to Life?
Life, yeah.
And you graduated when?
Graduated in 96.
96. And you met your wife at
I
Life
did.
also? So your wife's also a chiropractor?
Camilla.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I met Camilla. I met her at the first quarter party.
Wow.
I saw her.
Before that.
I saw her at the big opening, the orientation. When Sid gets up and speaks to the gymnasium through God Bless Sid.
Yeah.
And I remember her walking in the room, and I saw her, and it was literally one of those. She's this gorgeous blonde from Sweden. And so I followed her around, let's go. We were in class together, so I started speaking to her about what she's doing. Oh, going to Gonstead Club. So I'm like, Gonstead, I love Gonstead. So I'm going to Gonstead Club, right?
I didn't realize the cause and effect there, because now you do love Gonstead.
Yeah. I mean, it was, I think they call it stalking nowadays, but I was just like full on stalking her. And it ended up, our first date was the first quarter party. And we've been together ever since, so 23 years or so.
That's amazing. That's an amazing story.
Yeah, this is it's God is good. He's just always lights my path with people, and she is bright light. She's, I married up. You did too.
Yeah. We're definitely overchicked.
Overchicked. We are deeply overchicked.
I kind of said that in my hand, but okay.
I'm not letting that fly.
So now you built, not to embarrass you, but you built a huge practice, significant practice. I think a volume upwards of 1,000 visits a week or what have you. And you run Gonstead. I mean, you do the gowning, the scoping, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
couldn't be harder.
Because you are, out of anybody I think I've ever met in the profession, an amazing process guy. I mean, analyzing process and just refining a process to make it hum, in a practice. So, do you think a part of the reason why you became that is because you had this huge volume, yet you had this technique that required, a certain process that was, not necessarily fast?
Yeah, I think it's not really a chicken and the egg for me. I mean, we had, when I say we, Camilla and I, we had a real vision for what we wanted to do. We knew what we wanted to do in our town, and the systems and the processes came first.
Mm-hmm.
So they came before the volume, and I knew that that in order for us to make an impact in that community, we couldn't do it at 30 or 40 people a day. And although that's incredibly honorable,
mm-hmm.
I knew what scale we wanted to do it at. So it was systems first. We had to master, not beyond like the physical plant and the layout, but it comes down to, every part of your flow has to be tight.
Mm-hmm.
And, to develop systems that would not only allow for, but promote volume,
Mm-hmm.
Starting with educational systems with our patients and recruiting our community and making sure that they understand our vision and understand our mission so that they participate in it.
Right.
So there's not really a neutral thing. It's you're either helping us serve our mission or you are hindering us serving our mission. And we teach our patients that.
Right.
And so it's not just the mechanical nuts and bolts, which are incredibly important and
Sure.
absolutely have to be there. But it's not just, teach me this system that you've created.
Right.
It's, you've got to embrace the holistic approach to systematizing a practice.
The
for
system's
volume.
got to have a life. It's got to be brought to life, basically.
It has to, and the soul of that system is the vision and the mission.
Right on.
Yeah.
So you started coaching chiropractors. How long ago did you start coaching?
So I've been blessed with some great mentors and some great coaches in my past, and they have shaped me for sure. So I'm just I'm so appreciative of that path, and you're one of those. So I love my coaches and I love my mentors. So I just want to say that out loud here. So they gave me opportunities to coach,
Mm-hmm.
and they put me in environments where they said, "Man, you're pretty good at that. Can you be the systems guy? Can you teach that flow?" And so I started out with just focusing on students, and then expanded into, as our practice grew, I think I kind of grew into, so then I would take on the bigger practices, and eventually at the top of the game, just working with some of the guys who are just, are giants in our profession and helping them even better their systems.
Yeah.
So it's been about a 12-year process.
Yeah.
But that process has gotten more intense
Yeah.
in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So we have the one-on-one coaching. I've got some small group coaching, and now I've got my web-based remarkable practice, which is video-driven. So the next thing is impact.
Yes.
When you max your time, you can't take on any more one-on-one clients. Like in practice, you max your impact. So
Right.
it's now time for the next thing. And like you, I'm seeking impact.
Yeah.
So to be able to create now leverage multimedia so I can train people at a level that's infinitely scalable, that's my new passion.
It's interesting, and not to just throw a blatant plug in here, but this is the actual this is the truth. I know now several clients that you work with, and every time that I talk to somebody, and usually unsolicited, they come back and say, "Franson, that guy's amazing. Oh my God, you can't believe what like they're transformed with what you're teaching them." And it's I love seeing that, especially because I know some of them were kind of struggling. I know some of them were already successful, and they're just getting to that next level. And part of what I think is really pretty amazing about you is you still have your practice running. You're launching Remarkable Practice. You're doing your coaching, but you've also got this project going on in Asia that I'd like to talk about.
Oh, that little thing.
That little thing in Asia that has you flying to Singapore. So talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, that's exciting. So we've got, I'm part of an organization called Chiropractic First in Southeast Asia that's based out of Singapore. I work with this wonderful guy, Dr. Matt Kahn, who started this organization about 12 years ago.
Great guy.
Wonderful guy, and you should interview him sometime. He's
I
a
will,
character.
for sure.
Matt Kahn had a vision for bringing chiropractic to the world, and that's 2/3 of the world's population.
Yeah.
It's not underserved, it's unserved.
Yes.
And they are so ready. It's incredible. So we've got 21 clinics open and running and cranking now between Singapore and Surabaya and Jakarta, Indonesia, and Malaysia. And now we're going off into China, and we've got our eyes on a couple other acquisitions. We will have 42 clinics open by the end of 2015. And we are independent of that. We're launching 50 clinics in China with 250 behind that.
Wow.
So yeah, it's incredible. And these, I'd like to talk about the practices a little bit because it's extraordinary. It's an extraordinary opportunity. And again, not to be soliciting, but we need great doctors. The only bottleneck for us is great
There's
doctors.
students that watch this, a lot of students that watch this. So this is a huge opportunity if you're either DC looking for an adventure that will up your skills and put you in a position to succeed in practice in an exotic location, or if you're a student thinking about your future. I think this is a good time to pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, I coach doctors right now in 12 countries. There's nothing that is even remotely compares to this opportunity. When you talk about saving the planet, 2/3 of the world's population, we have the best training program in the world. We built designed a training center in Singapore where I do a 90-day immersion. I got to I was honored with doing like definition of practices and writing the process and procedures manual, the training manuals, etc. We have trainers that are trained up there, dedicated trainers just to train our new doctors, our new hires. And then the financial opportunities are extraordinary. We have doctors that are graduating out of our launch. They're launching out of our immersion program now that are seeing 300, 400, and 500 a week, 6 months into practice.
Wow.
And
they're not having the hassle with insurance over there, right?
There's no insurance,
Yeah,
and it's cash,
Yeah.
and when we talk about Singapore, for example, Singapore is one of the most successful economies in the world. It's absolutely the most prosperous area you could find yourself.
Right.
And to be in that community where there's such an abundance mindset and there's so much growth and there's so much energy, because the U.S. right now can be a bit of an ass kicker, right,
Yeah.
for people.
Yeah.
The reality is that there's this poverty complex that's kind of a wet blanket over the U.S. right now. Well, the world's economy is a waterbed, right? It's down in one area, it's up in another. It is up in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
So we have, these doctors are, we've got 28-year-old doctors making $400,000, $500,000 a year, 2 years out of school.
Wow.
How old were you when you started making $500,000 a year?
It wasn't out of school.
Was it 2 years out of school?
I paid some dues.
yeah. I look at this and I'm like, honey, maybe we should move over here. But it's exciting, and you'd be proud of these clinics.
Yeah.
And it's subluxation based, it's corrective care, it's heavy education, family oriented. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm really proud of it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to the next trip to Asia. Lori and I want to take a little detour, and we're looking over there because Lori's sitting over there. But we want to take a little detour and go visit Matt and some of the clinics, and maybe we could time it when you're over there.
Let's do it, man. We'll go Singapore, Jakarta, and then we'll go to Bali.
Yeah. Then that's we'll squat in Bali for a while. That's nice. So you have a couple of I don't want to say a couple. You have many interesting tricks. Here last time at the UAC, you had talked about some of the things you do in preparation for new patients that would be coming in, like a series of videos.
Yeah.
Can you just maybe share that one practice tip?
Yeah, sure. So this is sort of the spirit of the Remarkable Practice Academy is to teach sort of a tactical, practical application of the nuts and bolts of practice, right? And, so I think you're referring to the expectation thread videos,
yes.
Which I can't take credit for the idea, but I think that we've taken it to a really extraordinary level. I love this idea. I love this practice, and it's all about setting expectations, right? So the reality is, as Michael was talking about yesterday, which was wonderful to have him here, was to be talking about the fact that the reality is that you're dealing with a human being who's walking into your clinic, and they have their own wants and needs. That's the forefront of their mind.
Mm-hmm.
And they have no idea what to expect in your clinic. If as they walk into a chiropractic office, we have to take into consideration that it's probably the first time they've ever come to a chiropractor. It probably took them a lot to come to you to begin with. There's barriers that they have to get up and over, and their mindset has to be taken into account.
Yeah,
big time. So that's where it's made or broken, right? So, the expectation thread videos help sort of shape their expectations for that visit and for that day. And just from a practical perspective, it's a series of 3 videos that a patient will get starting from the moment they make a new patient appointment, and then following their new patient appointment, and then following their report of findings. And the expectation thread videos, as the name suggests, sets the patient's expectation for that visit
Right.
and for future patients.
So when they book an appointment, they're going to watch a video that's going to basically set the expectation for that first visit.
It's
After
slick.
the first visit, then
Yeah, it's slick. So, I mean, they make an appointment, and, you know, if Lori made an appointment on the book, she would immediately get an email that was a welcome email with a video on there. So it's a video, for my patients, I shoot a video, and it's me talking to them.
Right.
Hey, welcome to the office.
Right.
You know, so I know you've made an appointment. We've helped literally thousands of people, and now we get to meet you, and I'm excited about that. And you make this connection with this person, and they're like, now I know this guy.
Right.
Now I have an attachment to this practice. And they're not going to flake out. They're not going to forget their appointment, miss their appointment. And even more importantly, you shape their expectations of that day. Hey, today's about you. This is what we're going to do. So you've broken down so many of it's your first impression.
Right.
And like we were talking about yesterday, first impressions are critical.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
shapes the whole relationship.
No question, and being able to meet them virtually, because there is, for patients, if you can ever remember being a patient, going to any kind of a doctor, and walking through and sitting in the reception room, having that kind of abusive, experience just in the beginning, with here, fill out the thing, close the glass, and then, but imagine having a warm greeting via video, saying, "Wow, I've already taken away the mystery of something will be sitting in a room, the door's going to burst open, this person's going to work in, okay." Instead it's kind of like they're completely warmed up and start to look forward to it as compared to feeling anxiety about it.
Yeah, and I was talking to Zano last night about the ability to leverage media now in a way that you can do 15 takes if you have to until you get your message right.
Exactly right.
And then it's right every time, 100% of the time. Because we all have off days.
That's right.
And especially if you have associate doctors or another team member or whatever. And I'm not saying video replaces the human being, but leverage that technology, leverage video wherever you can, wherever it makes sense. Because if you're 100% on video, it's going to be better than if you're 70% on an off day or something sideways, right?
So what's the next two videos?
So the second, you mean in that series?
Yeah, in that series.
Yeah, so the one is the recap of day one.
Yeah.
This is what you learned today. Here are the high points. This is what you can expect on the report. And make sure you bring your spouse with you. It's a great thing because now they can go home, the spouse, and say, "Hey, honey, check this out. This is here's my doctor."
I like it.
And there's a great association there. Then they both come in and they feel like they've met you. Now the spouse is like, "Oh yeah, I watched the video. It's amazing."
Yeah.
So now they come in, and then the third video is again a recap of what they learned at the report of findings, and closing that cycle, and then future pacing them for their care and how to be successful patients.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Great tip. You should definitely process that and see how you might be able to apply it. So, tying up here, obviously, a lot of ambition. Remarkable practice getting launched, Asia happening, practice still functioning, coaching still going on. People want to get in touch with you for Remarkable Practice. How do they do that? Is it theremarkablepractice.com?
Yeah, theremarkablepractice.com.
Okay.
Or they can email me, Dr. Steven at theremarkablepractice.com.
And it's STEPHE, and we'll put it. I'll give instructions. You got, this is raw video. We're not going to edit either. So, Jimmy, just take what we're talking about here and put it up on the screen for everybody to watch.
And really, if I could say this, is Facebook is wonderful. I love using our Facebook fan page to do this one thing. So my goal is with the Remarkable Practice Academy is I'm going to take requests. Doctors come to me all the time. Hey, can you do a training on this? Can you, I got to hire a tech CA. How do I find and hire a tech CA? Or I've got an opportunity to speak at my church. Okay, talk to me about that. What does it look like? How do I do a corporate wellness talk? You get 100 people at your workshops. How do you do that? And make requests. And I'm like a DJ at a party. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm taking requests. What do you want? I'll do a module on it. And, it makes it very consumable. I call it practice hacking. It's practice deconstructed. It's, let me give you the bits and pieces that it takes to make a great, successful practice. So make requests.
I love it. I love it. And then if people want to get in touch about the Asian opportunity, they just email you?
Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it is to email me there as well. I can send you to the chiropracticfirst.org website, but to expedite things,
make a first contact.
Yeah, make a first contact for me, and I'll put you in the right direction.
Well, listen, it's thank you for spending this time and sharing with the audience.
I'm honored, man. I appreciate it.
A lot of fun, and my honor to have you here. We've got another morning of UAC this morning before we're done, so we'll get to work down there. But anyway, it's been really exciting, being with you, working with you, talking with you, sharing with you in general, not just here, but just in general. You're an amazing human being.
Thanks, buddy.
Glad
Appreciate you as well.
And we appreciate all of you tuning in and watching. I hope you're getting a lot of value out of these videos that we bring with the Rust Group. And as you can see, we're very unscripted. We kind of let it all hang out, and it's real. So thanks for watching. And the bottom line is, why do we do this? We want you to succeed. We want this profession to succeed. It matters. Any feedback you have for us, please send it. Good, we accept good stuff too. Normally people think, oh, if I have some criticism, I want to send that. But if there's something that they enjoy, they
love compliments.
Yeah, we like compliments. It's I know that maybe you overpaid for this a little bit, but we'll take the compliments. Anyway, brother, thanks so much, man. Yeah, thanks for watching.